session that is being donated to help the world. And I have no idea how I'm going to be guided, but we're all going to receive healing and the whole world today. Thank you so much for your generosity and for thinking of something so profound. And I'm going to go ahead and read the goals here. I can't wait to see what comes up on this. Okay. You guys ready? It says, "Hi Abby, I hope all is well with you. I would like to donate my session, Healing and Protection, for all the people fighting for freedom around the world. Please make it a public YouTube video. Thank you." Healing and protection for all the people fighting who have passion about the gift of freedom for all human beings, no matter where they live, no matter their race, their culture, their freedom from... I mean, there's so many different experiences when it comes to that sensation on an individual level, on collective level, global or country or community. Different ways that we experience imprisonments, being held back or being held down, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually even. You know, it reminds me of the concept where you can, as an individual, there's those of us who want to help the world, right? You're wanting to help the world here. And in my mind, I think, okay, what's one way that if I didn't have, let's say, any special skills, I decided in my mind somewhere that I didn't have any special, profound skills that my heart wanted to, but I didn't know what my actions could be to make a difference. And so on a smaller scale, you can change the world by simply holding the door open or helping an old lady with her groceries, or, you know, something so simple makes the biggest difference. Like buying a coffee for the person behind you in the drive-thru. Like, these little seeds make the biggest difference, you know? And so on a smaller scale, how can we make a difference? On a larger scale, there are whole movements of change, of self-awareness, of practical solutions, getting those voices to be heard, you know, getting those voices to be, and those ideas to be advertised as real solutions that we could all participate in. So there's smaller and there's grander scale movements and motivations of goodness, you know. So now we're focusing on freedom, protecting those, healing and protecting those whose hearts are passionate about freedom, about freedom. So when we fight for something, we are passionate about a movement that is the greater good of all, you know. And it's about the greater good of all. And we are passionate about that. Wow. Interesting. The next thing I experienced, just tapping into the goals and really connecting to different avenues, how I want to work through it. There's a heart energy, and it's going kind of upward like a geyser. It goes up from the heart through the throat, through the third eye, and then out the top of the head, and it's just like a geyser is just coming out, expanding. Surprises me because it's quite a lot of pressure, energy movement, like it's bursting, you know, like a geyser, volcanic eruption, but it's more like a watery energy. All right, I'm gonna relax. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this, for caring about the human race, caring about the world, and sharing such a gift with all of us here, with me, with time, history. It's really awesome. It's really good. It's really genuinely good. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm running into stuff like it's like scar tissue and it represents a lot, okay? Um oh man, it's so heavy. Where I felt that energy geysering out, it's like the opposing effect is all like kind of shoving its dense self down through my crown, through my third eye, through my throat, through my heart. It's like shoving its way into and making me feel dense and heavy. And I'm moving through like a meat locker, which represents scar tissue, wounds in our human race that have not healed, and built up scar tissue that is not healed. It just remains as like an exposure to the original wound that could open again at any time. And I move through here, and there's bodies hung from the back from a hook. And there's just so many bodies, and these bodies represent donations, gifts to the world, souls that inhabited that skin. Why does it remind me of Fortnite right now? Just putting on the new avatar, the new skin. Souls went into that skin, and then represented that movement in order to make a difference, only to potentially die during the process of making the difference, or just die of old age and then choose to come back and do it all over again in the next skin, And so there's lots of rows of rows of rows of rows, and they call them souls donating themselves. Souls that donate, they participate in, they are specifically focused on a specific way they want to impact for the greater good of that specific race all over the universe. And so they it's not like they're in a karmic cycle where they gotta go through the lessons. They're still learning in every lifetime. It doesn't matter. There's learning in every lifetime. There will always be learning in every lifetime. Even the masters of the universe that incarnate are learning in every single lifetime, because we're a part of each other. We work through everything together, okay? So, but they're showing me like it's not so much about like those types of karmic level lessons. It's just I want to help that specific race, and I want to help that specific race with this talent that my soul has developed over lots of lifetimes that I'm really good at. And then you go into that body, you have to learn it all over again. You're going to be completely in the dark about it. You're not really going to know what you're here for. You got to do it just like everybody else. Find your way in the dark, to find the light inside yourself, and then realize it. As you're working through all the steps of becoming that in your skin, and then sharing the gifts until it's time for you to shift into the next skin. So, but there's like row after row after row after row after row after row after row of these donations, of these donated times and bodies, and oh my gosh, it's like a lot. And there's scar tissue here. It's like it's taking so much, so many, to continue to circulate through another life, 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 in order to help this human race evolve. Evolve into what? Tyrants? Or eyes that see, hearts that feel, compassion, empathy, self-awareness, self-love, all that stuff. That's goodness. That's genuine goodness. That is freedom. That is freedom on the level that we don't even need to experience freedom anymore, because we are just simply in existence, and it is free, And so I'm being shown this. We all need to see this, okay? This is something that is important. Oh man. Okay, this is the next thing they're showing me. It's gross, okay? Unexpectedly gross. I merge with one of those skins. It's like a used body, and it feels really, really gross to put it on. It's slimy and squirmy and nasty. It's like wearing somebody's old like gym underwear that hasn't been washed in like 10 weeks. It's like, ew, ew. So I'm in that body and I'm hung on a hook. And I extendo arm here and then take the hook right out of my back. I lift my body off of it and I stand on my own feet. And I crack some bones, crack my neck, open my eyes. I'm like look like Mr. Clean. Like I'm a big, strong, brawny man with a bald head. I do. I look like Mr. Clean. And it's a very cold environment. And it's like literally a meat locker. And I see a lot of inactive bodies. And I am walking, it's down the ranks of the inactive bodies to the very end, or the very beginning, I suppose. Like I'm in front of everybody, of the many rows of bodies. And I know these bodies are going to be activated by souls, and they're all going to take themselves off the hook. And they're going to stand here in a way as my soldiers. So the meaning is shifting from a goodness of donating time, and it's like putting real heart into the life, and it's the best we can do to help the planet this time and this time and this time, a bajillion times if that's what it takes. Now is turning into a defense system. So it's turning into something that reminds me of war, reminds me of motivation for control and power and motivation. And it seems it's very strong and has a unexpected talent, unexpected force of will. All right, so now I'm in the front and I'm waiting for my soldiers. I don't feel gross in this body at all. I expect to be respected and I am taking command. And it's weird because nobody is waking up. Nobody's opening. They're not coming off the hooks. I'm here by myself, and I'm like, I don't even have a wife. I look at my wrist like, oh, it's a freckle past a hair. I don't have a watch on, so I'm literally like about to start twiddling my thumbs. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? My heart is turning upside down and sinking, and I'm feeling sad and alone. I'm asking the question, why am I here? For what purpose? And there's nobody here with me. I stand alone. At one time, it felt like force was what was necessary to create the right kind of change, is now turning into the unexpected, that you can't create change through force. You can't create positive change through force. A new idea is being born. And it takes separation from those ideas in order to birth a new one outside of our collective learning. And it takes loneliness. It takes, I feel like there's nobody here but me. And I'm asking many questions over years and years and years of time, asking many questions. Why am I here? What am I here for? I want a purpose. Guide me, show me. Where is everybody? Why do I feel like I'm all alone? It's very familiar to me, this conversation. You see how we're shifting to yet another viewpoint. In the spiritual community, people can talk about experiences where they feel like their soul is abandoned here. They can't find their soul tribe. They feel cut off. They're surrounded by people who don't get them or understand them. They feel like they're completely alone, and they're odd. They're different. They're not superficial or caught up in their ego. And there's a breaking point about that. There's a suffering about that, a loneliness. There's a constant need to ask questions. That creates a new level of learning, new level of growth. That too is creating a sensation of new freedom, new approach to freedom. It's a new level of psychological advancement, basically. It's not advancing through force and suffering. It's advancing through profound self-reflection and loneliness or feeling cut off. I had a moment where I expected that I would live just a life where I would just feel completely without purpose. And all I would do with that time was to ask questions constantly of why am I here? And that it would be another life before I would ever be given that answer. But they shake their head and say no. And I start to see some of these bodies are starting to breathe now. And they're starting to be filled with souls. And I start to cry. And I say something, I thought you would never come. I thought it was just me. I knew that me alone could not do it, that I needed others. We needed to be in a group, a movement together. Now the next phase of challenge appears because nobody's on the same page and nobody speaks really the same language. So my idea of direction, I stand at the front as the leader. Now there is a weird level of we have to somehow blend our completely different opposing opinions, and we have to work together somehow, and we are not on the same page as each other at all. Zero on the same page. And we all speak a different language, and there's the experience of every country in the whole world. It represents each one of these bodies, and we all speak a different language, and nobody can hear the other. But what's neat about this is we want to understand each other. We do want to understand each other. There are some that are really extremists, and some that are neutral, and some that are, I guess, just want to help everybody. That just want to be the solution, don't want to be the challenger. But everybody speaks a different language, and there is an idea, there's a desire to connect the dots, understand what each other is saying. Why are we still in a contained space? I feel like it's stifling. I feel like it's long overdue for change, to get out of this, to be set free from this containment, for fresh air, for something new. This next phase is I change my title from leader to I just step in with the men. Okay, I don't see any women here. I just step in with the men. Because there can't just be one correct idea. We have to, it's almost like we're bouncing every single version of an idea, but nobody's making any decisions. I step outside this room and I just let that time go. I just let that do its thing there, and I may be coming back to this, that I ask my guides, higher self, I ask, how is this aligning with healing and protecting those who are fighting for freedom? How is this message aligning with that? And what's the next step in that direction? Patience. Oh man, you're not even going to believe this. This is the concept that I didn't expect this. We're looking at what is time, okay? If we look at right now as the most important moment, right? Because it is right now. But we are missing the bigger picture. So let's say an event happens today and it's the loudest thing in the whole world, as though it's the only thing in the world, right? But now we have 10 years into the future. We have 10 years into the past. What led us to that moment? What happens after that moment? How do we transform over these 20 years? And now, how do we transform over 2,000 years? How do we transform over 200,000 years? Now, is it about that one single moment? Just that moment is the most important moment, or is it all the moments? Everything collectively. Everything collectively. So, interestingly enough, vibrationally exploring your goals, what we want to achieve for right now, for this present moment, healing and protection, for those fighting for freedom. It's not about just today, right this second. It's about a really major span of time that is to come, time that has not, that time. It's like all time. It's like all time. How are we to conceive of all time? All time matters because of the domino effect. All time matters. And so we have to first honor and respect, send gratitude to every single soul who came to donate a lifetime, another lifetime, another lifetime, another lifetime. The many, 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 many eons of souls that have donated their time, even into histories we can't even conceive of, that have existed or that will exist, or however you want to understand time. Souls that have donated, every single soul that is here, whether they're in a karmic lesson state or they're trying to guide the collective because they have mastered certain things that they want to come to help guide the collective in that way. We're all in this thing together. We are all then working together. We are all working for the same experience or same purpose, which is to grow and develop this race we call the human race. We are all working together. Even those that seem to be shutting the door, putting a damper on, freaking, I mean, how deep can we go into the darkness and the hell, right? How high can we go into the benevolence and the good, But it all works together, seamlessly works together. And so so they're showing me the initial scene, entering into the body again and again and again, to live a life here, to live another life here. So all souls. Then we send love and light to all souls. We send love and light to all souls. Eons away, like they show me an ocean of like every single little molecule in the water is another soul, like this a whole ocean of souls, and all of time, however you want to conceive of time. And we give that love to all. Give that love to all. Because whether one is fighting for freedom, another then is trying to snuff it out, only to create the whole, the lesson of the yin yang, in order then to blossom within that lesson the next flower, the next gift for all. The opposing sides then come together to create the next gift for all, and again and again and again and again. And one who is the snuffer outer, the one that is the dark side, one that is the light side, let's say. Now, the dark side becomes the light side, and the light side becomes the dark side, only to learn both sides of the story, only to become even more whole. Only to become even more whole. So some who are the freedom fighter today were once the one persecuting, in yesteryear. So now we have souls going through major, major, major timeless lessons, because we can't define time. We can't. It's like something that has so much value, it's priceless, and it's like timeless, because how can we put a time on the discovery experience that is taking place here? So all souls, all souls, all souls, all souls, gratitude for life, gratitude for the experiences, gratitude for the good and the bad, gratitude for the lessons, the extremes that come together to plant the seed of the next flower that blooms into the next lessons, right? And then the timelessness of the evolution that takes place, inconceivable time. This is good. Oh my God, is this ever good? Deep within yourself, You have awareness of this truth, and beneath your words is actually what you are looking for as well, is this deep, profound understanding and this true gift. You truly want to reach something that is truly going to help everybody in the whole world, help those who are not given the strength or the opportunities to be able to grow out of or overcome that. And how do we create more goodness? How do we create more opportunities for goodness, right? Then they say we start then by acknowledging every single soul is donating another life into this evolutionary process, and all souls then deserve gratitude. So we see, we understand, we work through it through this perspective, and give gratitude to all souls. So I'm going to do that here. I'm still aligning. Gosh, it's reminds me of when you're going through a really hard time and it's just like, why do I have to go through this really awful experience? That it shouldn't be like this. Why does it have to be like this? Why? It shouldn't have to be like this. And so we experience these moments of devastation, like in wrongness. There's a wronging that has been done to us, to each other, right? We've all been there, done that on some level or another, the wrongness. Then I'll watch a movie or read a story about the hardship, will be presented, of a single human being or group of human beings, and the hardship over time that they have to endure, and how they got through it or didn't. And my soul feels gratitude for their hardship, for their loss, for their struggle, for their perseverance, for their courage. And then I see myself sometimes, depending on how it feels, what I'm going through, and I think about what other people go through, and I think about the courage that it's going to take me to do just this, is big for my soul, is big for what I'm going through, and how another side of me is grateful for me, another side of me is thankful for what I'm going through, in order to become wiser, in order to become more whole, in order then to be my own step in this evolutionary process. This again is my donation. This again, what we give it all to each other. So I'm aligning with these deep meanings, these deep, profound meanings about why we come here in the first place, and the whole picture. Gosh. Another thing that comes to me here is I feel strongly, we all say it at some point in our life. Why does it have to be like this? When are people gonna figure it out? Why aren't we working together? I don't understand why we aren't working together. Why does there have to be really extreme versions of greed and selfishness that are going to, be very small portion of extremely powerful greed that then imprisons vast quantities of people and then manipulates them? It's disgusting. Like, when is this ever going to stop? When is it ever going to stop? So we want to put the energy into conquering the manipulation, conquering the insecurities that guide us to greed, or guide us to want to manipulate others, guide us to want to have power, guide us to not want to face our insecurities or face ourselves, or belittler than, because we are working on ourselves and feel, the ego makes that feel really maybe insecure if you are an insecure person, right? We're all insecure on some level, but now to put the energy into the power to overcome this, and the power to read between the lines, the power in us all to see, the power in us all to hear, to feel, to be more self-aware, more aware of others, the power in each and every one of us in order to help each other, to open up to beautiful ideas that we weren't aware of, in order to reach another level of purpose. You know how many versions of a purpose you have in a single life? It depends on how much you want to put into this life, or other things that might be in the way, because you could literally have all different types of purposes, to be something that is a little bit quieter than something else is a little bit louder, but to enhance your self-love, self-awareness, external awareness, observation of others, processes of the mind, ability to speak or communicate, ability to know when to say no and when it's okay to say yes, ability to just pause for a minute and admit the truth. These are all qualities that create a better world. A better world. Putting energies into influencing the letting go of suffering, the letting go of pain, the letting go of persecution of self, right? The letting go of, so that we can forgive ourselves and forgive others. Amazing things are happening here. This is interesting. The next thing I'm called to do is, all right, literally I see trees, a forest, and each tree represents a soul that will come here to live a life. And that soul is then paralleled with a tree. A tree is chosen for that soul to be in conjunction with. It's like the witch has its familiar, like the black cat, and the soul has its tree. Okay, so it chooses the body, it comes in with its skin, right? And then somewhere in the world there will be a tree that is its adopted familiar tree. And so I'm literally doing this for you, for me, for the whole world and eons of inconceivable time. I am creating a layer of divine truth. It's just like putting a blanket over it. When you're really cold, you might need a lot of layers, a lot of blankets. If you're too hot, maybe we need to take some of those off and then expose you to the breezes, But it's kind of like a gift of a divine layer of truth, that a wise tree is a part of your growth and development, and that you are in oneness with a wise tree. And every human being is in oneness with their wise tree, their familiar tree. It's cool. Okay. Hmm. You know what? They show me a tree that when I was really little, like 4 years old, let's say, I was always climbing trees. But I sat in this tree. I mean, what could be long periods of time. And I'd study the leaves on the tree, and I would sit in this tree and I'd look around me and pretend to be a bird or talk to the tree. And they show me this tree, and I'm visiting it again for the first time, like in all these years. To a tree, it's probably not that long, but to me, it is a long time, because my body only lived for so long, right? That the tree's body can live a long time, as long as there's no, fires or, some sort of hazardous event. And I'm merging with the tree, and the tree tells me that, oh man, this is hard. sometimes there's goodness in our childhood, that there can be memories of goodness in our childhood. And when we're children, there's like such a purity about our nature that to merge with that child's goodness is it's vulnerable to the adult that has been through a lot of heartbreak. It's like a part of the grown up doesn't want to feel the purity, because the purity in time becomes defiled, and you live with the defilement, and in a way you attract again the defilement until you learn it, until you see it too, you recognize it, and then you're strong enough to make a change to get out of it. But if you can find a purity, some moment of purity from your childhood, that is a memory of purity from my childhood that's untarnished. There's no tarnish of it. It was complete innocence. It was completely intuitive. It was completely there was no tarnish of it. It feels exhausting to go back to this tree, because I feel time, I feel memory, I feel age, I feel simplicity turned to complexity. I feel the fantasy turn into logic. I feel the heart becoming tougher, I guess, firmer, not starts to be different. But the tree is helping me to it's weird. It's like confessing your sins or something. What is it to sin, really? But to walk away from your purity. You didn't even know you did it. Even the most good, the most saintly, on some level, to grow up here, on some level you walk away from purity, on some level. And so this tree is like a confession of sin, which is you walk away from your purity somewhere in there. And it's painful. It's painfully true, and it's shameful. It's grieving, because how could you not? And how could you not do that? How could you not end up doing that eventually without even realizing it, you know? To walk back to your innocence, to walk back to purity, is true freedom. You have the freedom to do it at any time. And what would prevent you from it, from doing it? This is surreal, because I see another scene, and it may not be a tree for everyone. I mean, they say there's a tree for everyone, but they show me a girl who's, it's like her grandma had many flowers in the garden, and would pick fresh flowers and put them on the kitchen table. And so there's the scent of like lilacs, or the scent of fresh flowers, and then grandma baking or cooking in the kitchen. And there's a moment that is untarnished for this girl. The smell of the fresh flowers and the grandma's cooking or baking. It's a moment of purity that has to do with nature, that has to do with something natural. And maybe it was always a lilacs that was placed on the table. And there's something about that as a familiar. that is a familiar part of nature, that is a part of that child's memory. And it seems to be outside of the realm of the human world. Something that isn't human that became familiar as a gift of nature to your spirit, to your childlike self. And it's like that memory and that untarnished time is still there. And it's like to return to it, to sit in it, makes you feel like, start to feel like how truly broken life has made you. And it makes you sad because why do we have to all suffer so greatly? And you have these moments in childhood that could be so brief, could be so loud and so pure. You could return to those untarnished moments to find yourself again. Actually find yourself again. And to be you is the most powerful you could ever be. To be you. You have the freedom to be who you are, untarnished. You have to look for it. You have to try. It's pretty amazing. It brings me back to that meat locker and all the scar tissue, which is like walking into the heart of our race. Heart of our race. I mean, we're all human beings, you know? And we're not on the hook anymore. We don't have to donate a life because we want to be here, to be a part of the bliss and the experience. It's almost like the initial feeling of souls donating their and another life to helping. They know what they're getting themselves into. They're like a fly choosing to get stuck on the fly paper again and again and again and again and again and again to try to make a tiny little imprint to help this human race evolve, even if it takes a trillion upon a trillion upon a trillion upon a trillion years. We can't put a timestamp on this. Could say that it's all going to happen this year or it's all going to happen next year. It's always all happening all the time, forever. It's all times. But when you don't define it as a, here I go again. You don't define it as, I gotta suit up, gotta get ready for this, another lifetime on Earth, gotta suit up, get ready for it. Just let it all go, and just the benevolence that's attracted to coming here just to be here, that gets lost along the way, it becomes tarnished in the process of just simply trying to help this world. Again and again, like, it's true love. It makes you not feel so like wrapped around the problems that need to stop, that need to go away. It starts to expand your heart, and it helps you to understand that you can only feel the goodness when you feel what it takes to keep trying. To try again over how many lives, you know? And all the souls that keep doing this. We aren't doing this because we're stuck. We're all guided here. If we get out of our human self to feel the pure love that desires to be here, it's not tarnished at all, it's not manipulated at all. And we're free souls, freely choosing to try this again. And maybe not even try, just be. Be a part of this evolution. Be a part of what it feels like to be in pain, to not want to be in pain. and to help someone else in another life who was in pain the way you wanted to be helped in a life where no one was there to help you. To know what it's like to be truly cast out, to be welcomed in, to be mended, to freeze to death, to be alone, to die as a child, to die as a grandma or grandpa, or mom and dad, to die in the most unexpected way, or the most painful way, most unfair way, most unjust way. What do you think all of this is teaching us? What do you think our souls are actually learning? Do you think our souls are learning? Maybe the human behavior isn't there yet to reflect the deep learning our souls are gaining from this. It will happen. It is happening. It already has happened. Again, it feels like it feels free. It feels free. As in, think about going back to the tree. I'm not so hesitant because I chose to feel something uncomfortable in the way of returning to something pure. It made me stronger, made me more full of my own truth, which gives me more freedom to be more of who I am, which gives me the freedom to help others on a more profound level. I'm going to ask if there's anything else. It's almost like this message is to remind you of your soul. Every single one of us, to remind us of, why do you think you came here? Why do you think of all the benevolent things that your soul was attracted to? It was attracted here. No matter what it felt like, no matter what you went through, no matter how alone, no matter how confused, no matter how much pain. Again, and then again, out of pure love, beneath the surface of this is pure love, pure generosity, pure gratitude for each other. No matter if you're on the dark or the light side of the fence, you could end up becoming from the light into the dark, and vice versa as we continue to circulate through all of this sea of soul learning here. And so you look at the vastness of it. First, you look at just one individual life or one individual moment. And then how you can set yourself free from whatever the subliminals and the programs and the artificial parts of your personality you didn't even realize you were doing that. Returning to the unsuspecting familiar tree, unsuspecting familiar flowers on the kitchen table. That part of nature that brings you back to an untarnished purity. And then you feel the goodness that was always there. To do that for yourself right now gives you an edge of freedom right now in your life. You gave it to yourself. This gift then opened the door for you to discover the freedom you have to do this for yourself, to set you free from any of this, and then to find true love always here, no matter what the circumstance or the situation, to see the bigger picture of all of time and all of the souls that we can be grateful for, all of them, every single one. Every single one. I like to think of it as, God can't be God if one soul is missing. Let's say God is all the souls. Now let's take one soul away from God. God is not complete anymore. All the souls matter. In order for God to be whole, God is all the souls, not minus one, because we didn't like that one in that lifetime. It's not correct, because that soul is part of God. And so all the souls matter. Every single soul we need to be grateful for, whether they're doing terrible things or extremely benevolent things. That is the vastness of soul learning, and there's goodness in it, and there's pure love in it, and there's wholeness in it. There's timelessness And what can you do now in your life, right now, to find your wholeness, to find forgiveness and all these other emotions that set you free. It's amazing. That was really beautiful, really moving. I really think it reached a deep place for all of us, giving all of us a gift of transformation, put not just to ripple it through our planet, rippling it through each and every one of us is doing that. Giving each and every one of us then the individual opportunities as well to become stronger in who we are, our true self. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so very much for this very kind and generous gift. Self-awareness, love, just so many good energies about it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for allowing me to receive that. All right, everybody, I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching. Take care.